Are you ready to get your health back but feel overwhelmed by the endless healthcare options? We believe God has called each of us to a specific assignment, and we want to make sure your body, mind, and heart are up for the task. It's time to simplify the process of healing. At Cornerstone Integrative Healing, we offer simple, effective, easy ways to prioritize your health and gain understanding. No prescription pad needed. I'm Carrie Cootie, a pharmacist turned integrative health practitioner. I'm so excited to have these conversations around topics with my friend, Jen.
Hi there, I'm Jen, and together with our team at Cornerstone Integrative Healing, we offer an alternative to traditional healthcare, combining our expertise and experience in the medical field with our knowledge and faith to break the cycles of guessing what's wrong. We know the road to healing, feeling good again, can be overwhelming. You can expect honest conversations around the ups and downs of healing. The truth is, there are so many layers to healing. Because we've taken the time to learn where true healing comes from, we've learned how to help other women to discover a different way of caring for themselves. Join us every week for new episodes as we discuss topics that are personal and pertinent to your healing journey. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Jen and Carrie here. Excited to be with you again. Today, we are still talking about overwhelm. I hope you're enjoying these couple podcasts on overwhelm. I know Carrie and I have talked a lot about this subject because we see a lot of women, and we know this is one of the main things that they come to us with. Because when their health is failing, they feel like they have to fix it all. And, their thoughts kind of, drift to, what can I do? Instead of surrender. And so today's a really important episode. We're going to just talk about how your thoughts shape overwhelm and how it matters, because overwhelm doesn't really start with your circumstances, right? It often starts with your thoughts or your response to those circumstances, which, right, we've all heard that before. But for me, I know it's a challenge to, it's muscle memory. It's like you've reacted to situations your whole life one way. And sometimes we really need to examine, the thoughts that we're having on a daily basis, right? Because they just happen, right? It's almost subconscious. And so today we're really going to talk about why the mind matters, how our thoughts, how our words, how our actions really play into how we deal with overwhelm.
Yeah. Um, I think I didn't realize maybe before, the last couple years, how much this really does matter. As far as just, the Bible tells us to take our thoughts captive in Second Corinthians. And I mean, I've read that passage over and over again, but I guess I didn't really understand what that means or how important it was. So we're going to kind of go through some things today, just to hopefully enlighten you and just give you some things to think about and to pray about and ask the Lord, what does He want you to do with this information? That's the most important. But our thoughts and what we're kind of focusing on really matters so much, because the enemy works in that plane a lot, because he knows if he has your thoughts, then he has your words and he has your actions, right? And so we kind of are like sometimes frustrated. Why do we keep doing a certain thing, or why do we keep reacting a certain way? Well, it kind of goes back to this, and then of course to spiritually as well. Of course, what we're kind of holding in our heart. And not surrendering maybe. But, again, if our thoughts shape how we speak, how we act, how our body responds as well, right? We're constantly getting signals from our thoughts that then our body responds accordingly. So, of course, this definitely plays into the physical a lot. And, those repeated thoughts, they just become our normal. And sometimes that's great, and other times we're sort of operating out of false information, but our body believes it's real. So let's kind of talk a little bit about the pattern and how this sort of takes shape. Because a lot of times the enemy doesn't want you to believe this large lie, right? It starts with a tiny little lie, a tiny little distortion of the truth, let's say. And so, this could be. Do you have any things that examples, Jen, that you think are good to give?
Yeah, I feel like, and this is, I think, a popular one, but for me, it's the unworthiness piece, right? Like not being enough, not doing enough, having enough, being enough,
Yeah.
is probably I feel like that comes up a lot for
I
me.
think so.
I think in other people too.
But I think yeah, I think in general, it's just like we have this maybe scarcity
Right.
mentality. I know I've struggled with that. It comes out in different ways. We could have that around a lot of different things.
Yeah, and
Time,
I wasn't
energy,
talking yeah,
money. But okay,
exactly.
maybe I took that and took it in a different place. Sorry.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I wasn't thinking money, I was thinking, like, scarcity in, like, character traits or, things that I may feel like I should have, but don't, right?
Mhm.
And so and I think a lot of that comes back to comparison. We compare ourselves
Yeah.
to other people, which God gave us our own set of gifts, yeah?
Mm,
And
yeah.
if we don't stay rooted in our own gifts, and there's tendencies, right? Like, I feel like in order for my gift, right, to, I think, or to use my gifts fully, I have to lean into who I am, right? And I think that's where a lot of people, maybe the repeated thoughts or the comparison, get in the way.
Yeah. Definitely, because, I mean, it's just this maybe subtle, again, distortion, and then it
Right.
starts to be repeated, and then we start to look for all of these reasons why we're not enough or we don't have enough or,
Right.
etcetera.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you could put in there. I'm sure that maybe if that didn't resonate with you, there's something that does. And then a lot of times those things we don't really ever say those to other people because, I mean, I don't know, maybe it doesn't come up, maybe we're embarrassed, maybe we don't like to talk about things with
It's
other
vulnerable.
people. What now?
It's vulnerable.
Definitely, right? Who wants to really share what they're struggling with other
Right.
people? I mean,
Right.
a lot of times we don't, and then isolation is the worst thing we can do because
Right.
we don't have if we don't ever, get these things out in the open, we don't have anybody to say, "That's not right." And so then we just keep believing it, and we keep, they keep growing louder because we keep gathering more and more information about why this is, to us, true. Um and so that is why what we come into agreement with matters, and let me share a little bit about what that is. Again, we just talked about these lies that we believe. If we don't come out of agreeing with those, we're just gonna stay agreeing with the lie, right? If we don't, discern every thought, discern what this is against Scripture, and realize it's a lie, or say it out loud, and somebody else helps us to realize we've just been believing that these are lies, not true, then we're just going to continue to live in agreement with this. Does that make sense? Anything you'd add there, Jen?
Yeah, so I just wanna yes, if I could take that one step further and kinda give the example. So I think
Yeah,
you're trying to say with the agreement is, so the example that I use, that I'm unworthy, and that I'm not enough, that I don't have enough, that, whatever, what you fill in the blank. So as I subtly come into agreement with those, I wanna do more, I wanna have more, right? That's what so I'm constantly striving, right?
yeah,
Because it's not enough.
hmm,
And so that's is what leads us into overwhelm because I've come into agreement that I'm unworthy, right? And
yeah,
so I think what you're saying is you have to recognize that thought of I already am enough, I already have enough, I already give enough.
mm,
And so that roots us into I don't need to strive, right? I need to do what shows up in front of me and what God puts in front of me every day. And so I think, I just wanted to make sure, like, what agreement, how you explained it and relate it
yeah.
back to the overwhelm.
Yes, and, another good one that I was thinking about is whenever we're, maybe we're struggling with health things and we've come into this, where we're kinda believing that we don't have what we need. We're constantly needing to be on the lookout for what we're missing, right? We feel like we're missing something instead of believing that God's given us everything that we need to heal. He's going to provide. He's going to, in His time, in His way, and that just helps us to take a deep breath and realize, "Okay, I don't have to constantly be looking and constantly feel like I don't have what I need." That all of these things keep us, stuck in survival or protection mode because our body doesn't feel safe because our mind is telling our body, "We're not safe, we're not safe." So that's how it plays into the physical. Hopefully, that makes sense in the way that I explained it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. In fact, a lot of the limbic retraining programs that you see on the market now, so like Gupta or what is it? Primal trust. A
Yeah.
lot of them, what they focus on is where your thoughts are, because when you are sick or haven't felt good for a while or have been in overwhelm or fight or flight for a while, like Carrie said, your body, your mind is constantly scanning your body. What's wrong? Where are we at? Is there pain here? Okay, what is this? What's
Yeah.
this tension? What's this pain? And you're constantly doing that body scan, which is fatiguing in and of itself. That
Mhm.
adds to
Oh, yeah.
overwhelm.
Yeah. So true.
So one of those, the main thing in those limbic retraining, which is basically a brain retraining, right, is retraining the mind to say, "My body is safe." Do I have tension in my neck? Absolutely. It's from the stress, right, that I'm currently holding. What stress can I let go of, right? And then
Mhm.
just like the Bible says to renew our mind, right?
Right.
Um, and it's a daily thing, really.
Yeah.
The monitoring the thoughts, the body scan, stop scanning the body. It's a daily thing that you have to come to, especially when you've been in constant tension or fatigue or
Right.
irritability or fill in the blank.
It's just kind of a daily reminding, right? It's like maybe we have this, awakening like, "Oh, I didn't really realize I've been believing this lie," right? We come out of agreement with it, we start walking in truth, but then we have to keep walking in truth. So I think it's the practice, the daily practice that will change things, right? You just have to wake up every day and agree with God's got me.
Yes.
He's in control. I can't do this by myself. No matter what it is, right? We all have to do that. We all have to wake up and seek him versus going off and doing whatever it is that we feel like we need to do, right?
I felt like at heart it was hard for me to the thought, really taking those thoughts captive. But I felt like after I sort of knew what, the enemy's sneaky, right? He plants
Yeah,
these little seeds in our thoughts that you don't that seem benign, right?
sure.
Um, so for me, it was doing it time after time after time,
Yeah,
right? And you get better at recognizing those thoughts. Is that truth? Because sometimes it's truth with a slight twist, and you're like,
right.
"Oh, that's fine," but it's
Yeah,
not. That
yeah,
thought is
yeah.
okay. Um,
Yeah, that's what's hard is to continue to do it. I mean, it's
yes,
sort of a lifelong thing, not
right.
just I'm gonna do this
Yes,
for a few weeks thing.
yes,
So
yes.
but yeah, that's we hope really with this whole kind of series that we're doing talking about overwhelm and the different ways that we can be affected, that they all go together, right? We've just said how our thoughts affect our physical being. And then in the previous episode, we talked about how our where our heart posture is affects everything. So they all go together. Hopefully, you're kind of seeing this in what we're talking about. Um, you kinda just spoke to it, Jen. Do you wanna kinda go through how you renew your mind
Sure, yeah.
practically?
Yes. So, the first thing that we always do is notice and name. So, say for instance, I have a thought. Excuse me. Like I don't have enough time to get this all done, right? That's one of my big ones is time. Like when I'm feeling pressure and time, that's kind of my first wake up call. Okay, what am I doing that I need to do and versus what do I just want to do on my own? What's God calling me to in that moment?
Yeah,
And so, that is one of the first thing when I feel that stress, when I feel that, okay, Lord, redirect my thoughts. What do I need to do today? I'm serving you, I'm serving your people. Like,
yeah.
let me be very intentional. And the other one for me is my body because I did struggle for so long just being
Mhm.
chronically ill is, I'm fatigued. How am I going to get done what I need to
Yeah,
get done? And so it's recognizing that initial thought of, yes, I'm fatigued. I'm not going to get these things done. So you have to immediately recognize it, name it, and just, don't get down on yourself. A lot of these thoughts are planted literally. And so
yeah,
what you just have to do is notice them, name them, and let them go. And ideally, when we say discern and release, and then replace it with a truth. So what is the truth? Like when I'm tired, my body is responding and healing every day, right?
mhm,
In God's timing, everything will get done. Some sort of biblical truth to insert back to displace the lie.
yeah. And I think, again, it's being a lot of this is awareness, right? And I get
Yes.
if you haven't been doing it, it'll be a new thing. And that's why distractions are just not good because you're not as aware of what you're doing if you're just racing through your day and you're constantly just, you know, distracted.
Yes.
And I just we can't do this on our in our own strength. That's why whenever I'm noticing, I'm like, God help me. Like I need your help right now. I feel this way. I know this is not true. You know, I'm gonna realign with truth, but God help me to stay in your will today. Help me to stay with you today because we need his help, right? We're gonna stray.
Yes.
Um One thing to note with this, if whenever these thoughts are coming up, they have a lot of times these thoughts that we're believing, these lies that we're believing have a lot underneath them. And so this is where journaling could come in handy if you feel like you keep having the same thoughts, if they feel really heavy, if you just need to kind of if there's a lot going on in your head, you just kind of need an off ramp for some of those thoughts. Journaling can be really great. Just again, just the stillness is awesome, even if you don't write anything, that just the stillness. But to kind of get some of your thoughts out can be really helpful. So, I mean, it just could be you taking a few short, deep breaths and just saying, like, what feels heavy right now? What's disturbing my peace right now? What's loudest in my head right now? And just write whatever you want to, however long you want to. So that can be a really great thing that you can add in daily or just whenever. But obviously sharing, right, and verbally processing with someone trusted is really important too. I think we should do both of those, and that's why community is so important, and that's why we should ask for prayers and we should have conversations with people so that they can redirect us back to truth. Obviously, we should be having conversations with trusted people that are going to point us back to Him. I think that's an important note. But yeah, this is a practice worth practicing, right?
Yeah.
This is how we offload those things that are weighing us down. This is how we become more in alignment with God's will, more in alignment with who He's called us to be so that we can do His will. We can do what He's asked us to do and ultimately glorify Him. That's kind of the reason why we talk about all these things because I think it's easy to make healing an idol. It's easy to make these things an idol, but that's the whole goal is that we live our lives to glorify Him. So,
Amen.
anything you'd add to this conversation?
I just wanted to say when you were talking about community, I think sometimes it's hard to see from the inside out. It's easier for people on the outside to sometimes see. We're just too close to
Yeah, that's true.
I've had people see it for myself, but I've also been able for some friends who have texted me about some things and, they were just struggling and I would call it out right away. And I remember a specific text exchange with a specific friend. And she said to me after I texted her, I said, "That's a lie." I said, "Don't accept that." I prayed over her. She goes, "I couldn't even see that."
Yeah, and we can't. I mean, a
No.
lot of times we really can't. Now we get better at it, I think, whenever we realize this is kind of our bend, right? Our bend is to do this. We see how the enemy's working, but that's why we have to stand in offense, right? We have to stand with our shield and our protection on, and stay in the Word and stay walking with Him as much as possible because the enemy's not going to stop, right? He knows how to push all of our buttons, but we figure out the ways that He works and we get stronger in the Lord. So
Yeah. Just stay at peace.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
we hope
Thank
this encourages you, and just maybe helps you to think about things a little bit differently and to start being more aware of your thoughts because I think as moms, our thoughts can go in women in some bad directions, right?
Yeah.
We get all kinds of guilt. We carry all kinds of things that we should not carry, and our the people around us can feel that. And yeah, it's just we want to be who God wants us to be for those around us, right? That's our heart. So this really helps us to do that better and become a better wife and mom and friend and all the things. So let us know if you have any questions. If there's any ways we can help you or pray for you, we'd be glad to. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
If this episode has served you in any way, drop a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love it if you'd share any aha moments or takeaways on Instagram and tag us at Cornerstone Integrative Healing.
And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. We want to continue to walk this journey with you. Until next time, friends, know that we are praying for you.